Good evening, everyone. Let's begin the session. I would like to start with a quote. The journey is never ending. There is always going to be growth, improvement, and adversity. You just got to take in all what is right to continue grow, continue to live in the moment. So, for starting a new chapter of learning, I, Sakshi Narayan, being your host for today's event, want to extend a warm greetings and good evening to all the present here. I hope you all are doing amazing. On behalf of SEMS Welfare Foundation, I welcome you all in today's international webinar, and the topic is Women Safe. And our guest of honor and today's speaker, Ms. Aparna Gonate. It's a great honor to have you with us, ma'am. We are grateful for your presence.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So I also quite interested to see that the audience are willingly interested, and they are seeking to learn more and more safety reasons for the women from ma'am. But let me introduce the SEAMS family first. SEAMS Welfare Foundation is a non-profit entity established to work in the area of education, social welfare, women empowerment, skill development and entrepreneurship, livelihood generation and employment, health, research, culture, international corporations, sports, environment protection, or any other similar sectors. We promote healthy lives, a balanced and active community with a strong business. Let me introduce today's speaker to all of you. Ms. Aparna is a senior manager HR at Ashish Life Science Private Limited. She has over 20 plus years of experience in several companies as an HR. She is well versed in implementing the HR models like PMS system, KRA, and KPI. She is good in handling the organization with a good number of team. She has a forecasting talent by continuous dialogue with the management, project and product manager.
Thank you, Sakshi. So good afternoon to all of you. I know this is a Saturday afternoon, and I'm sure you all would have some interesting things to do, but then you have taken time out to attend this session. So big thanks from me. I know women's safety is talked about a lot, but very few actually take steps towards it. So how many of you really think that you can take care of yourself? Quickly type it in the chat box. Yes, no. And I'm not saying just from physical safety, because safety is multidimensional. Has to be emotional, psychological, also at workplace and outdoors, indoors, multiple locations. Okay. In fact, some people don't even safe at their home. Okay. So do you think you are capable of taking care of yourself? Fine. So let's dive into this session and understand about women's safety. Now, I'm actually going to talk about women's safety and in the context of India. Okay. And I'm going to tell you certain things, the statistics which are from India perspective, but I'm sure things are not different on international geographies also. So as the Indian economy and the society embrace the new frontiers, the Indian women of today is more and more a part of public places. Now they're claiming their rightful place in the society and in also the commercial world, juggling work, marriage, children, and a home, or giving up one in favor of the other. Women in our country have surely come a long way, even if there is a longer way still to go. One irrefutable reality, if you is that sadly not has changed, has become more harsher with the passing time, is that the question of women's safety. Now, it is almost 12 years since the unfortunate Nirbhaya incident. So, for people who don't know about this incident, there was an incident in one of the city of India wherein a female was raped. She was gang raped in a moving vehicle, and this happened in Delhi. So, it's unfortunate, and not only was she raped, was brutally beaten up. There was a rod which was inserted in her private part. So this incident actually caught attention of the whole nation as well as the world. Since then, we know that little has moved in these years. Time and again, we have to bow our head in shame, and not just for continuing speed of events, but also for our inability to tackle such menace with determination. It's only natural then that the efforts towards women empowerment, both by government as well as corporate driven, are more keenly focused on gender sensitivity, inclusivity, and safety against sexual assaults. I'll now want to bring attention to certain rights. Now, if we see on international arena also, you will find certain rights which are given to women, but very few are aware of such kind of rights. Okay, so let's see from India perspective what are those rights. So first of all, there is right against sexual harassment at workplace. So there's an act called Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act 20. Then there is right against domestic violence, right against dowry. So what is dowry is basically for marriage alliance. There is lot of gifts, money expectation or property or assets or gold which is expected from the girl's or bride's family. That is dowry. Okay? Right to free legal assistance. Now, how many of you are really aware that if you have to fight something, you actually don't need to hire and pay the lawyer? Your country gives you a right to free legal assistance. There is National Commission for Women Act taking care of all violences against women. This act was passed in 1990. Also, there is a right that you cannot be arrested at night. Okay? Earlier, it was like you need a female to be there present, but now there's an act which says women cannot be arrested at night. Right to anonymity, right to private defense, and women's safety in night shift. So women who are working in night shift, there is a lot of rights that you have. There's also right against being stalked, and not just physically being stalked. Stalking is basically someone following you against your will, someone keeping an eye on you, and that can happen on social media or internet as well, right? So stalking is just not physical stalking, but also stalking on social media. Now, personal safety guidelines. Now, we're going to see it in threefold. Indoors, that would be your home or your workplace. Outdoors, so it can be at site, so or women who are working, or even civil engineers, or in hospitals and nursing homes. Okay, at site location, at client location during travel and transit. Okay. And in cyberspace, we're going to see in the virtual world how we can keep ourselves safe. So let's understand what is sexual harassment actually. Okay. On this, I'm going to take a break from this PPT. I'm going to show you a small video and let me know, what you understand from that video. So just give me a moment. I will stop sharing the slide and I'm going to share. So this video actually spoke about how to not get sexually harassed at workplace, right? Now, there are a lot of people who don't understand or don't have clarity about what amounts to sexual harassment. So let me showcase the slide again. Okay, just let's understand what is sexual harassment actually. So it is said like someone asking or demanding for sexual favors is absolutely a case of sexual harassment. Making sexually colored remarks, like we saw in the video, calling hottie, sweetheart, all those abbreviations or all those endearments used actually can amount to sexual harassment. Showing pornography, physical contact and advances, unwelcome physical, verbal or non-verbal conduct of sexual nature. Now, frankly speaking, all this that we see on the screen or whatever just said right now, these are all direct forms and which can be easily identified. But when sexual harassment really takes place, is it so easy to identify? Yes, it is sexual harassment. What do you think? Yes, no. Is it easy to identify sexual harassment or sometimes it is tricky? What do you feel? Yes, no. Do you feel it is easy to identify sexual harassment? Okay. A lot of many are saying yes, and Kyle is saying it's tricky. Yes, easy to feel. Okay. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay. So I'm in an office environment. Where I'm sitting, diagonally opposite to me, there is another cubicle where there is a person, a man sitting. Okay. Now he's a project manager. He has to do a lot of thinking. And when he thinks, he has this habit of looking in infinity. But because my desk is diagonally opposite to his cubicle, whenever I raise my head away from my laptop and I happen to find out that he's staring at me. Now, do you think he's staring, which is making me uncomfortable? Okay. I feel, why is he looking at me? Do you think this is sexual harassment? Yes, no. Quickly type it in the chat box. Because once we have laid down the foundation of understanding what it is, then we'll look at the remedies of how to keep ourselves safe. Okay, Rifat, Rana feels no. Rose feels yes. Swati feels yes. A lot of you are feeling yes, but it's very tricky because if I go and confront that person is going to say, hey, no, completely mistaken. I have this habit of looking at infinity. Unfortunately, your desk is diagonally opposite to when you feel. So I'll park this question whether this is sexual harassment or not. And when we demystify what is sexual harassment, we'll revisit this question. Okay. Now, for our understanding, sexual harassment has been categorized into two groups. One is quid pro quo, which is a Latin phrase which means something in exchange of. And the other one is hostile. As the word hostile, it means something which is unconducive, uncomfortable. Okay. So quid pro quo is asking for sexual favors in exchange of opportunities or threatening an associate if she does not consent to such sexual advances or favors also amounts to sexual harassment. Let's take an example, okay? A student of mass communication and journalism filed a case against the head of department. The head of department kept on declining her research work under one or other pretext. So she inquired, what are the reasons? What would be the corrective action? The head of the department tried to sexually harass her in exchange of offering to accept and grade her research work with excellent grades. And this is a classic example of quid pro quo where there is some kind of exchange happening. Now, it is not just opportunity, but this person, the head of the department, also created a situation which actually threatened her. So, that situation was threatening that if you don't give in to my sexual demands, this will continue. I'll keep on declining your research work and you will never pass out, right? So this is a quid pro quo type of sexual harassment. Let's have a look at hostile environment. As the word suggests, hostile means uncomfortable, unconducive. So it occurs when either speech or conduct of sexual nature takes place and is seen or perceived as offensive and interferes with the work performance of the recipient. It can be one or it can be more associates also. Now, hostile environment sexual harassment may also include intimidating or harassing conduct that is directed at an individual or group of individuals. What are the examples of it? Talking about sex, telling obscene jokes, using endearments or sometimes crude or offensive language also, unsolicited or unwanted touching of any part of clothing or body itself, commenting on someone's physical appearance, talking about or spreading rumors about someone's sexual orientation or sex life, showing sexually suggestive pictures, notes, magazines, cartoons, using sexually suggestive gestures, staring, cornering, following, blocking the pathway, or even stalking. Now, the next point, it's It's very, very important. Please pay attention. For a counselor, what if the person is giving excuses or directly saying no? In spite of if you are persistently requesting that person for dates, outing, lunches, or dinners, it will amount to sexual harassment. Okay, let's take an example of this case. Okay, so hostile environment is creating uncomfortable work environment by exhibiting unwelcome behavior. Let's take an example and see. Okay, so in year 2012, an IT intern filed a case with ICC. ICC's Internal Complaints Committee, which is constituted at each workplace to take cases of sexual harassment. Okay, so she filed a case with an IT MNC giant stating she feels uncomfortable with the project team she's allocated. Now, why does she feel uncomfortable? So, her project workload and stringent timelines necessitated to work beyond office hours. And she was left alone with her male colleagues who played derogatory film songs with sexual connotation. Now, she mentioned that she had brought it to their notice that such behavior is making her uncomfortable and she is unable to concentrate on work. But they made fun of her, calling her Auntie G and Datima, citing that her thought process was old fashioned. Now, here, the intention does not matter. So, might be her male colleagues are playing those songs to just unwind, feel rejuvenated, and then return back to work. Intention is not important in sexual harassment act. Impact is important. Okay, and hence this case will amount to sexual harassment. Now, coming back to that parked question, staring of a guy who is seated diagonally opposite to me. Do you think it is sexual harassment? Yes, no. Quickly type it in the chat box. Correct. So, in sexual harassment, it is not about intent, it is about the impact. Behavior, it can be gesture, it can be action, it can be verbal, it can be non-verbal. If that is making the other person feel uncomfortable, it is creating hostile environment, sexual harassment. Clear? Now that we have laid the foundation of what actually is sexual harassment. Now in India, Indian government is pretty serious about it, and at workplaces it is mandatory to have an internal committee constituted, a policy around prevention of sexual harassment, and lot of states are pretty serious, and hence each state has their own portal also. So not all states have it, but a lot are joining. So we have a portal in Kerala, we have a portal in Maharashtra, we have a portal in Telangana, and then there is a national commission woman for entire country where you can register such cases. If you have an IC constituted, which is mandatory at workplace, that committee can take cases of sexual harassment. Now, are we just as women facing issues of safety at workplace? No, I think it comes to various places. Now, let's have a look how to be personally safe when you are outdoor. It can be outdoor at site, at client location, or it can completely be during travel. So, first of all, let us understand outdoors are uncharted territories. That means, like our residence, we know it's a known territory. Our workplace, to some extent, we know. But when you are going outside, you don't know what to expect over there, what could be my escape route over there, how would be people over there, how would be the environment over there. And that's the reason you have to be extra cautious when you are outside. It is very difficult to gauge people and situations. Okay, dress appropriately when you are outside. Why do you think you need to dress appropriately? And I am not a person who seconds thoughts of certain politicians, like when they dress up, they're giving an invitation for rape. I completely oppose that thought process. But why you need to dress appropriately is for a simple reason. You cannot control thoughts, feelings of such sick people. I'm sorry I'm using this word sick, but they have sick mentality. Okay? So please dress appropriately and modestly. If you're going for a certain party or a certain place where you need to dress glamorously, okay, always have an overcoat over that so that when you're outside, at least there you are not revealing things. Okay, keep people, whether they are at office or home, informed about your whereabouts, where you're going. Ensure you have comfortable shoes on. Whatever you want to wear, those fancy shoes, heels and all, can carry in your bag and then wear it at the location of the occasion. Behave professional, follow office etiquettes if you are at client location or if you are some in some other work environment, right? Yes, I'm getting some comments in the chat box. Yes, in my view, all types are really essential in women's rights. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. Now, personal safety guidelines while outdoors. Again, it's a continuation of what we are talking about. When you are on site, as in I'm talking about certain, like there are some architects or civil engineers who go on site, okay, and there is lot of labor staff as in the blue collared, so we need to understand their temperament. I'm not saying that just because they are blue collared they have this kind of mentality to look at you from a different angle. No, I think the sick mentality prevails everywhere. It is not, limited to your education or your upbringing. I've seen good parents still having kids who have this kind of a sick mentality. Okay, so what I'm saying by a blue collar temperament is sometimes men cannot accept women in leadership roles. And when you tell them certain things, do this, and if you're little aggressive or dominant when you are saying this thing, people from a blue collar temperament, I mean to say, they are working in sun. Their patience level is very low and they sometimes cannot take orders from women. In that case, they may want to harm you in certain way if it goes against their wish. If they feel that it is very insulting or rude or aggressive, they may not. And if the same thing is told by a male boss, probably they will not feel that. But a female telling them, they may not take it in the right direction. Okay? Always be alert. Do not disclose unwarranted information during personal calls. I've seen a lot of people, not just women, while they're traveling or they're outside, they're talking about their fixed deposits, their asset, their salaries, and giving away a lot of clues, or I've just bought a Mercedes. So in a way, you are actually giving invitation to be robbed. Okay. So please be alert. Do not disclose unwanted information. Or sometimes you say, I'm alone at home, everybody has gone on a vacation, I'm going to be alone for 10 days. All this information is not required to be presented in public. Avoid lingering in areas devoid of surveillance or no network areas. Do not leave your drink unattended or drink or food unattended. Okay, we all know a lot of movies have taught us how they spike the drinks or food. Do not accept edibles from strangers. Make or carry your own water or drinks or food. Now, for example, in India and abroad also, they would offer you something in the name of prasad. Prasad is over there. Okay. You can accept it, keep it in your handbag. Keep it in your handbag, but don't eat it, don't consume it. Okay. Avoid dim light, isolated places. Very important. Very important. Avoid wherever you think. I've seen women, just because they are talking very intimately to their boyfriend, they would go in such places as if the dim light is not going to make your voice audible to others. Okay, it's psychological. Don't do that. Or sometimes you are so engrossed in talking that you don't realize where have you come and what danger is lurking in those isolated spaces, right? Let's move on now. Very important, these are very important tips. Okay, make sure you have internet and balance in your cell phone. Don't wait for that last minute recharge or last one signal, just 10% or 20% being there. Sometimes when you're going on a long travel, it doesn't hurt get another spare battery which is fully charged. So even if you don't get time or a venue to charge your cell phone, you have a separate battery if you're going for long travels or overnight travels. Okay. Always keep your Uber, Ola app in your cell phone. Carry a paper spray. Keep a safety app on your cell phone. Be alert. Keep an eye on the route. If you think that the cab driver is actually taking a different route, see on your Uber Ola app also, you also get an option to see your route, right? So the route given by Uber Ola, and if he or she is digressing from that route, that's a red alert and you need to raise an alarm. There's also an option in such kind of applications where you can send an SOS to the nearest. Pause in listening to music, use public, share location trip status if traveling by Uber or Ola, and always try to take the known routes. Okay. Now, cyberspace. How many of you have accounts on? Okay, let me rephrase this question. How many of you don't have social media accounts? Is there anyone who is not on Facebook, Twitter, Insta? Is there anyone who is not on social media? Not a single one. Everyone is there, including me. And do you know how you need to keep yourself safe? Right, Swati? It's not possible in today's world not to be on social media. Do you think on social media you need to be safe because nobody's physically assaulting me? Do you think I'm safe? It's only on social media. Most of the time, what they will do is might just say some derogatory things to me. Apart from that, what? What cybercrime? Yeah, Rifat Rana, that's a very good point. Can you elaborate more on that? If you want, you can unmute yourself and say what cyber crimes are we talking about over here? Rifat, you want to unmute yourself or type it in the chat box, whatever you're comfortable with. You got a very good point, right? Online blackmailing, yes, yes. Okay, let me ask you one more question. Fake IDs, yes, very good. How many of you have kids? Cyberbullying, perfect. Anyone has kids? Do you post pictures of your kids on social media, on WhatsApp, DM status, DP? Okay, I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm trying to make you alert. Yes, Rifat, right, right. Hate speech. Very good, Nina. Anis, right. So normally, you know what, we are in so much in awe with them that we post pictures of them. It can be on social media, it can be on WhatsApp status. Okay. Again, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to make you aware. There are a lot of pedophiles and sites for pedophiles. You don't know without your knowledge. The kids' photos are getting posted on such sites. There's auction done for such kids. And if God forbid, the expected bid comes through, the child might get kidnapped. And we are so ignorant. We also post where we are going, what we are doing. So we'll say, dropping school, dropping my kid to the school, in a mall or on a vacation. So you are giving the whereabouts also. Sometimes you write essays about them, like how you came into the world and made me so happy and all. Without your knowledge, your kid, it can be any kid, the photo is getting posted on such sites and there is auction happening for them and then they getting kidnapped. Yes, Nina. Okay, so please be aware and be cautious about doing things. It's okay if people don't appreciate your kids. There are people around you. Come out of that virtual world. There is a world beyond that also. So now we're going to see one scenario. Okay, and a lot of us will relate to this. So Huveria is an NRI. That means non-resident of India. She's completed her schooling from the US and is now in India to pursue her engineering. She lived her life to fullest. Okay. Whatever she did, she had to get it uploaded on social media. Oh yes, she had more than 10K followers. So we see a lot of influencers, right? And now I think everyone, it's not about Gen Z. I've seen people from baby boomers generation also doing that. Before you even consume food, first you need to click the photograph. Before you even wish someone, you need to write about it. Yeah, it's his birthday and I'm wishing him. Okay. So such is the norm in today's world, right? So even Uveria now, she's a teenager. So she also has 10K followers. So she's like an influencer and she keeps on posting everything. Now she used the check-in feature. How many of you know there is a check-in feature in Facebook? I checked in a hotel. I checked in a mall, or I checked in one foreign location, right? On Facebook. So she used that feature to inform her friends and followers about her whereabouts. Her life had minimum privacy. One day she decides to go to Goa on a solo trip. She updates her plans on her wall with a detailed itinerary. Kiran, now he's a stalker. He used to keep track of all her details. He was a habitual offender and was out on bail recently. So he takes a bus and goes to Goa and texts Huveria from his hotel room and expresses his desire to meet her. After checking out his profile, Huveria blocks him, unaware about what fate had planned for her shortly. As Kiran had her itinerary, he follows her to the beach and molests her when there was no one around. And Kiran escapes. Uveria is feeling terrible and regrets for not limiting her images, check-in details, and other related posts on the social media. Huveria could have avoided this. Quickly type in the chat box how she could have avoided such kind of incidences. Or what would have you done if you were an influencer? You wanted to post amazing experiences of going at locations or your solo trip. What would you have done differently to ensure your safety? Quickly type it in the chat box. Perfect. Post it later, right? Do not post anything about daily life. Absolutely right. She could have also not given a detailed itinerary, changed the time. Yes, detailed itinerary, like from where she's going to go, where that itinerary also should not have been there. Post after some time later. Absolutely right. And even if she would have not done that, when she knew that post privately, absolutely right. Kiran, when messaged her, she blocked him. She blocked him. But was that enough? Because she had already shared her itinerary and she followed the same route. She could have changed the route, she could have changed the destination when she knew that he is a stalker or he's trying to approach her. Yeah. At least then she could have taken the right steps. But then sometimes we get engrossed so much in posting on the internet. There have people who have lost their lives by taking selfies at very risky locations. Okay. So all that instant gratification is something that should stop. Okay. Now let's see, men of honor, I call them. What are the signs of true gentlemen? Okay. First is behave normal. So just act as you would with your male colleagues, minus the touching and foul mouthing. Staring, looking fixatedly or vacantly at someone or something with one's eyes wide open. Now also personal space. So women get uncomfortable when someone steps into their personal space in an elevator, walking down a corridor, or sitting next to her on bench. You need to maintain a respectable distance. Example, asking permission to get control of PC or laptop instead of leaning over from behind. This is a common mistake that is done, right? Do not use endearments. So reserve those for your girlfriend, wife, or daughter. Female colleagues are not your honey, sweetheart, or cuties, just as male colleagues are not. It is okay to compliment women, but then there is a way of complimenting, right? So there is no harm in complimenting a woman if you mean it sincerely. Women appreciate sincere compliments. Do not crack dirty jokes or forward suggestive photographs. Yeah? Women find dirty jokes offensive. Sending a suggestive photo is a total no-no. It reveals that you are a pervert and makes her uncomfortable in your presence. Yes, Nina, right. Stalkers think differently and more attention to the outside. Absolutely. Talk to her face. We saw it in the video also. Don't gaze. The power zone is the face. Don't let your eyes wander here and there. A woman knows when you're checking her out and makes her extremely uncomfortable and reveals that you are a pervert. Be courteous and helpful, but do not try to take over her work. So do not offer to handle the work of female colleagues, suggesting that either you are better off at it or that you are helping ease her burden. She's just as capable as you are, if not more. Do not talk to her in an inappropriate or offensive manner. The boys' club isn't considered cool anymore. It is very obviously an attempt on men's part to keep women on the periphery. Do not engage in demeaning talk about women. You'll get a reputation of misogynist, a person who dislikes, despises, and is strongly prejudiced against women. It is okay to ask her out for coffee, drink, or meal. But if she says no, it is not right to keep at it and make it an ego issue or discriminate against her at workplace. Okay? Stand up for and support women at workplace. If you see a woman being harassed by a male colleague, call him out, ensure that she's protected, and that's what really makes you a true gentleman. Okay. Now, on this note, a lot of us face street harassment, right? So I'm going to now stop sharing the PPT. I'm going to play another video. This video is about street harassment, and this is actually from L'Oreal Paris in collaboration with an NGO to stop street harassment. And it's a very interesting way of how you can actually stop street harassment. Okay, so let's have a look at the video.
We see it happen everywhere, at any time. 78% of women have experienced sexual harassment in public spaces, like a suggestive comment, a sexually explicit touch, an inappropriate gesture, or being followed, and it threatens our self-worth.
It takes over who we are.
We see it happen, but stay cautiously silent and uncomfortably look away.
Maybe because we don't know what to do,
How to help.
or how to combat the situation.
I said I'm fine, so don't bother me.
The time has come to keep our heads up and to stand up for each other against street harassment.
And everyone can be part of the solution.
Sorry, I'm gonna pay for it.
Excuse me. Is this yours?
Can you help me, please? I'm looking for this direction.
L'Oreal Paris and the nonprofit organization Hollaback have joined forces to teach men and women how to combat sexual harassment in public spaces with simple but impactful actions.
Learn how to combat street harassment at standup-international.com. Take a stand with L'Oreal Paris, because we're all worth it.
So, when you actually see someone getting sexually or street harassment, don't just dive in to help that person by, catching hold of the collar of that harasser or beating him up. That can totally backfire on you. Okay. There have been instances where the saviors have been beaten up. Okay. You never know if that harasser is armed. Okay. So there are subtle ways of handling street harassment. Okay. Coming back to our PPT. Okay. Now, this slide is really important from multiple levels. Okay. Now, what research has shown, it is not about your physical ability that really keeps you safe, but it is your mental strength, emotional preparedness to face such kind of dire situations. Okay. So we are going to talk about how you can actually be safe, even if your harasser is physically more stronger than you. So most sexual predators are skilled salespeople. What does that mean? Sweet talkers, so that everyone can trust them. So they know how to get your trust and hand over control of the situation to them. They know how to disarm you, influence your choices, determine your decisions for you. So sometimes when you're on the road, a guy might come running to you and that person might say, "Oh, I just lost my cell phone. I need to inform at my home. Can I have your mobile phone?" You are in an isolated space. There is no one around, and this person has already disarmed you by taking away your phone. He's also ensured you are in an isolated space. No one is coming for your rescue. So this person is very smart. He's a sweet talker. And women as such are very kind-hearted. They would always want to help people, right? So we would definitely give away our phone. So be very careful, because these sexual predators, or even if they want to harm you in any other way, they want to rob you or assault you, they are very simple. So if you feel that somebody is trying to sell you on a course of action and is persistent in their attempts to do so, then you're most likely in the presence of a predatory individual and should do what you can to disengage from the situation you are in. A person should be judged by their behavior and actions regardless of whether they are a friend, an acquaintance, or even a family member. Do you know you can be kidnapped and trapped in your own house? Yeah, that's possible. Okay. So statistically, you are more likely to be assaulted by someone belonging to one of these groups than by a stranger. For example, if a friend of your boyfriend or partner comes to your home at a time when they know that he won't be around, be equally suspicious of them as you would with a stranger who turned up on your doorstep. Now, if that happens, what are the remedial steps that you're going to do? If you sense that this person who is a friend of my boyfriend or your spouse has come at a time when he knows that he would not be around, what are the remedial steps that you're going to take even before he has actually shown signs of any kind of assault on you? Best way, you can keep your house door open and chit chat in the living room. You can reach out to your neighbor and ask that person to come. Okay, you can reach out and you can ask the neighbor to come and be with you or to visit you after 5 minutes. Or you can always make an excuse that I have to go out for a business meeting or grocery shopping. and immediately leave, right? So there are 7 behaviors or actions or methods that predatory individuals use to disarm or groom you, and these are charm and niceness. So if you feel that someone is too sweet, then yes, you have to be careful. Giving away too much information. When people normally lie, they give too much details. Discounting the word no, that you are saying that I want to go out, but that person still lingers out in your home. Okay? Typecasting, loan sharking, force steaming, unsolicited promises. All these are signs of predatory individuals. Now, it's a very scientifically proven thing that your intentions and your sixth sense never goes wrong. If you're feeling that something is amiss, something is problematic, please pay attention to it. If you get scared, if you're kidnapped and if you get scared, there are techniques to overcome it. First is breathing. Yes, tell your brain, yes, there's something very unfortunate which has happened, but I am going to take myself out of this situation. When you give these commands to your brain is going to give all the same commands to your body. This is scientifically proven. Second, use breathing techniques to get control of yourself. Be alert, know when to cooperate and comply, and then you should also know when it is clear when you should counter, control, and escape. Mental strength is the best to encounter a battle with calm approach, a great sense of confidence, and a feeling of equal empowerment. Because most of the times, the mental battle begins prior to any physical confrontation. The self awareness of inner calm and action can be achieved by going through a disciplined physical and mental training. Now, if you waste your energy on crying and yelling, when the right time comes to escape or to attack or defend, you might not be left with any energy. So don't waste your energy on crying, yelling, shouting, fighting with that attacker. When you know that person is aggressive, show him or her that you're cooperating, you're scared. So you are actually not scared because you have learned the techniques to overcome fear, but you're showcasing that you're scared, you're willing to comply to whatever they are saying, you're pleading. And when you find the right time, attack. But don't attack and keep on attacking. That attack is to bind that window to run away, to escape. Because you don't know whether that person has compliances, or compliances who will come and then they together will again be very stronger on you. Okay. So you should know when to defend, when to sit tight, and when to attack and escape. Now, technology, though, has actually given us a lot, it has also helped us to keep safe. And at times, it can be something that might give a window to our privacy also. But there are certain apps like Safety Pin, iWatch SOS for women, Spot and Save, Shake to Safety. This can work without even internet. Chilla. Okay, all these are safety apps. And over the counter safety tools can be paper spray, safety alarm, safety torch with a shock. Okay, and these are all very, very reasonable. You don't have to actually go and invest a lot in getting that, but this all tools will give you a window to use it and run away, right? So, and your self defense mechanism, even if you don't have this kind of tools or apps, if your bag is heavy, hit with a bag, use your mobile phone to give an emergency SOS call to someone. Each end, you can poke it in the eye, nostril, ear. This is a very delicate area near your throat. You can use a metal water bottle, umbrella, pen, or any pointed object, screaming or shouting at the top of your voice. Most important, do not shout the word help. Very, very low chances of people coming to help. Instead, shout fire. If you shout fire, lot many people will come to your rescue. And this has been proven with research. Use word fire instead of help. Now, let's look at some self-defense mechanisms. Okay, there are certain sweet spots and soft spots. So, eyes, throat, groin area, kneecaps, feet, all these are the soft spots that you can hit. These are the self-defense moves for women. Fighting stance. So, very solid stance allows you to generate more striking power, remain balanced, and be best prepared to run for help as soon as the opportunity for escape presents itself. Palm strike. So if you give it on the nose area is very, very sensitive. Okay. A palm strike is a safer alternative to sending a punch, but while it is still effective. Okay. The strike goes to the nose or the throat of an attacker. Strike very powerfully to create an opportunity for escape. Knee strike. When you're up and close and personal with an attacker, a knee strike can be an effective option. This strike would go to the groin of an attacker and even to the face if they are bent over. Elbow strike, like the knee strike, the elbow strike is intended to be used when you are in close proximity of an attacker. It is designed to make contact to the face or throat. Front kick. So, a lot of people know about the front kick. Hammer fist. A hammer fist is another safe alternative to punching. It involves making contact the bottom part, the pinky side of the closed fist, and can be sent to the nose, chin, cheekbone, or even throat. Okay. With this, we have come to the end of session. There is a lot actually that can be done for women's safety, but I think the most important takeaway is that when you are attacked to something, first cry out or shout for which word will you use to seek help. Quickly type it in the chat box. Which word will you use? Fire and not help. Very good. And even if you don't have those safety apps or tools, you can use certain things that are with you. And I think mental strength is more important than physical strength. With this, I'm really, really thankful for all your patience to be attentive till the last slide and all the videos that you have watched. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sakshi.
What a wonderful knowledge, ma'am, you had given to us. It's really required in this era, in this time. I hope audience has also learned so many things to make themselves safe, even their mother, their sister, their friends, also in a safe zone. I would like to take some few questions from the audience, if you allow, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, first question is, what is the difference between POSH and POSCO in case of the safety?
Right. So POSH is for adults 18 years and above, and POXO is for kids. So someone below 18 years who would fall under prevention of child sexual abuse. Okay. And for POXO in POSH, the person who is a complainant, okay, can also has to prove that certain thing like this happened, okay, because that person is an adult. Whereas POXO, the child is considered to be saying the truth, and the respondent against whom the case has been filed needs to prove that he or she is innocent. Okay, and POXO as well as POSH are all mandatory at workplaces, at schools, colleges. So only difference is about the age group.
Ma'am, there's one more question. Is there any activity or any sign which a small child can tell himself or express himself from being harassed?
Yes.
Because as an adult, we are able to say, we are able to shout. But being a child, is there any activity for them?
There are lots. So there are specialized training programs for kids to make them aware. So as low age group as 3-year-old child, where they don't understand what is sexual abuse, right? But the way they are narrated, so a lot of this training happens through storytelling about good touch and bad touch. Now they are made to understand it from a story angle, and then they are told about, which part of your bodies are to be not touched by any stranger or anyone apart from your grandparents and your parents, or even if your parents and grandparents, then there is also a limitation to it. But all this, the narrative is through storytelling and not the way that we normally conduct sessions for adults. Most important is there is if you allow me, I don't know if there is time, I could have shown you one video which normally all kids should be shown so that they know what is abuse.
Komal, the bus will be coming anytime now. Leave. This is me, Komal. I'm 9 years old. I love my school so much. Some of my friends are naughty at times. But even I'm naughty sometimes, na?
Komal Kumar!
My mama is fun, but she can be strict also. So what? She takes care of you also, na? Says Papa. But I still like Papa more.
Hey, Hey, Bakshi! Hey, what a surprise!
Papa's old friends, Bakshi uncle and auntie, are our new neighbors.
Oh, hello. Who is this sweet little girl?
It would have been better if they had children for me to play with. Thank you. Bakshi uncle is dropping me to school. Papa was getting late to work now. That's why. Uncle is very sweet. Auntie's a very busy woman. But uncle works from home only. They have such a nice house. And it is full of pretty things. Wow, unicorn!
It's okay. You can tell Mama you got it from me. Or you don't have to tell her.
Even Papa doesn't play with me so much. Bakshi uncle is so much more fun.
Where is my little doll? Where did she vanish? Oh, you must be here. Yes, gotcha.
He even took me out to eat gola once. Please don't tell Mama. Huh? She might get angry. She's strict now. I wanted to tell Mama, but I was afraid. So what if I had gola? Anyway, all my friends eat it.
Hey, you want to play a new game? A secret game?
Yeah, that will be fun.
Come with me.
What are you doing, Uncle? What kind of game is this? I'm totally confused. It felt dirty. Why did Bakshi Uncle do it? I feel so dirty.
Komal? Is everything okay? Hello, Mrs. Kumar. I wanted to speak to you regarding Komal. Beta, why are you sad? Did someone say anything to you in school? What happened? Did someone hurt you? If you don't tell me, my dear, how can I help you?
I have secrets. I have lied to you about the gola. And now this. I feel very dirty. You would be very angry if I told you what I have done.
No, I promise you I won't be angry. I love you, don't I? Then trust me.
He is not a nice uncle.
Which uncle? No, wait. Everyone will know.
Then what can we do? Whose help can we seek? We can't let Bakshi get away with this.
Childline. My friend Priya works there. They help children.
10, 9, 8.
Hello. Komal, I know what happened to you was not your fault at all. We will ensure that your Bakshi uncle can never see you again. Let me show you how to keep yourself safe. Hi kids. How are you all today?
Good morning, Didi.
Have you ever been in a situation that made you feel uncomfortable?
Yes, Didi. When my little dog chews away my shoe, I get very angry.
That's true. What I mean is, has anyone touched you in a way that made you uneasy? Which of you have experienced this? So then, how do we know if someone is doing something wrong or touching us the wrong way? Here, let me explain. We all need to have our own personal space in our body. There are 4 zones which should not be touched by anyone, and nor should you touch anyone else's part. Mouth, chest, the part between your legs and buttocks. These are your personal spaces. Only the most trusted people, like your mother, may see and touch you in your personal spaces. So tell me, when you come home from school and your mama gives you a hug, how do you feel?
Sometimes she smells of vegetables. Yuck!
But don't we feel very nice?
Yes, we do.
Your mother may touch you in the 4 zones while giving you a bath. Or sometimes Dr. Uncle checks you in Mama or Papa's presence. This touch keeps you clean and healthy. When we are touched by someone who loves us and cares for us, we call it safe touch. If anyone else touches you in one of the 4 areas, it is wrong. It could also make you feel shy, scared, yucky, uncomfortable, and unhappy. Someone could show you dirty pictures or film, or make you undress, or they touched their personal parts in front of you. All such actions are not safe for you, and we call them unsafe touch. Some people do such things even though they are not good for you, and you feel hurt.
So then what will you do if someone touches you in these places?
You should shout, "No!" and run to someone you trust and tell them.
Who is that?
You tell me, whom do you trust?
My pet dog!
Yes, you can tell your pet, but will he understand you? Will he be able to help you?
I trust my mama and my teacher.
So, if someone ever touches you in a way that makes you uncomfortable, you must tell someone you trust and keep telling them until they listen to you.
So there are a lot of ways actually to educate kids about good touch and bad touch and what should be done. In India, we have a child helpline number 1098, which any kid or their parents can reach out to.
It was really a wonderful session, ma'am, and very informative, so that we can educate our children also to be protective in this society where anything can be happen any day, as per the news which we are watching nowadays.
Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful session. Thank you,
Thank you.
audience.